The book of Nehemiah, Chapter 1, the deeds of Nehemiah. Nehemiah hears bad news. The words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah. In the month of Kislev of the 20th year, I was in the citadel of Susa when Hanani, one of my brothers, came with other men from Judah. I asked them about the Jews, the remnant preserved after the captivity, and about Jerusalem. They answered me, the survivors of the captivity there in the province are in great distress and under reproach. The wall of Jerusalem has been breached, its gates gutted by fire. When I heard this report, I began to weep and continued mourning for several days, fasting and praying before the God of heaven. I prayed, Lord, God of heaven, great and awesome God, you preserve your covenant of mercy with those who love you and keep your commandments. May your ears be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer that I, your servant, now offer in your presence day and night for your servants, the Israelites, confessing the sins we have committed against you. I and my ancestral house included, we have greatly offended you, not keeping the commandments and statutes and the ordinances you entrusted to your servant Moses. But remember the admonition which you addressed to Moses, your servant, when you said, if you prove faithless, I will scatter you among the peoples. But if you return to me and carefully keep my commandments, even though your outcasts have been driven to the farthest corner of the world, I will gather them from there and bring them back to the place I have chosen as your dwelling place for my name. They are your servants, your people, whom you freed by your great might and strong hand. Lord, may your ears be attentive to the prayer of your servant and that of all your servants who willingly revere your name. Grant success to your servant this day, and let him find favor with this man, for I was cupbearer to the king. Nehemiah Chapter 2, appointment by the king. In the month Nisan of the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when the wine was in my charge, I took some and offered it to the king, because I had never before been sad in his presence. The king asked me, why do you look sad? If you are not sick, you must be sad at heart. Though I was seized with great fear, I answered the king, may the king live forever. How could I not look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins and its gates consumed by fire? The king asked me, what is it then that you wish? I prayed to the God of heaven, and then answered the king, if it please the king, and if your servant is deserving of your favor, send me to Judah, to the city where my ancestors are buried, that I may rebuild it. Then the king, with the queen seated beside him, asked me, how long will your journey take, and when will you return? My answer was acceptable to the king, and he agreed to let me go. I set a date for my return. I asked the king further, if it please the king, let letters be given to me for the governors of west of Euphrates, that they may give me safe conduct till I arrive in Judah. Also a letter for Asaph, the keeper of the royal woods, that he may give my timber to make beams for the gates of the temple citadel, for the city wall and the house that I will occupy. Since I enjoyed the good favor of my God, the king granted my requests. Thus I proceeded to the governors of west of Euphrates and presented the king's letters to them. I presented the king's letters to them. Yes, the king also sent with the army officers and cavalry. When Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the Ammonite official, had heard of this, they were very much displeased that someone had come to improve the lot of the Israelites. Circuit of the city. When I arrived in Jerusalem, I had been there 3 days. I set out by night with only a few other men, and with no other animals but my own mount, for I had not told anyone what my God had inspired me to do for Jerusalem. I rode out at night by the valley gate, passed by the dragon spring, and came to the dung gate, observing how the walls of Jerusalem were breached and its gates consumed by fire. Then I passed over to the fountain gate and to the king's pool. Since there was no room here for my mount to pass with me astride, I continued on foot up the wadi by night, inspecting the wall all the while, until I once more reached the valley gate, by which I went back in. The magistrates knew nothing of where I had gone or what I was doing, for as of yet I had disclosed nothing to the Jews, neither to the priests nor to the nobles, nor to the magistrates, nor to the others who were to do the work, the decision to rebuild the city wall. Afterward, I said to them, you see the trouble we are in, how Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been gutted by fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, so that we may no longer be a reproach. Then I explained to them how God had shown his gracious favor to me, and what the king had said to me. They replied, let us begin building. and they undertook the work with vigor. When they heard about this, Sanballat, the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Gershom the Arab mocked and ridiculed us. What are you doing? They asked. Are you rebelling against the king? My answer to them was this: it is the God of heaven who will grant us success. We, his servants, shall set about the rebuilding, but you have neither share nor claim nor memorial in Jerusalem. Nehemiah chapter 3, the list of workers. Eliashib the high priest and his priestly kinsmen took up the task of rebuilding the sheep gate. They consecrated it and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars, then continued the rebuilding to the Tower of the 100, the Tower of Hananel. At their side, the men of Jericho were rebuilding, and next to them was Achur, son of Imri. The fish gate was rebuilt by the people of Hassaniah. They timbered it and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars. At their side, Meremoth, son of Uriah, son of Hakkoz, carried out the work of repair. Next to him was Meshullam, son of Berechiah, son of Meshezabel, and next to him was Zadok, son of Baana. Next to him, the Tokahites carried out the work of repair. However, some of their most powerful men would not submit to the labor asked by their masters. It's a little hot. The Mishnah gate was repaired by Jehoiada, son of Paseah, and Meshullam, son of Bosadiah. They timbered it and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars. At their side, Melatiah, the Gibeonite, did the repairing, together with Jedon, the Meronothite, and the men of Gibeon and of Mizpah, who were under the jurisdiction of the governor of west of Euphrates. Next to them, the work of repair was carried out by Uzziel, son of Harhiah, a member of the Goldsmiths' Guild, and at his side was Hananiah, one of the Perfumers' Guild. They restored Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. Next to them, the work of repair was carried out by Raphiah, son of Hur, administrator of half the district of Jerusalem. And at his side was Jediah, son of Harumaph, who repaired opposite his own house. Next to him, Hattush, son of Hashabniah, carried out the work of repair. The adjoining sector, as far as the oven tower, was repaired by Melchijah, son of Harim, and Hasishub, son of Pahath Moab. At their side, the work of repair was carried out by Shallum, son of Helohesh, administrator of half the district, of Jerusalem. Together with his daughters, the valley gate was repaired by Hanun and the inhabitants of Zanoah. They rebuilt it and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars. They also repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall up to the dung gate. The dung gate was repaired by Melchijah, son of Rashad, administrator of the district of Beth Hasharim. He rebuilt it and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars. The fountain gate was repaired by Shallum, son of Kohosek, administrator of the district of Mizpah. He rebuilt it, roofed it, and set up its doors, its bolts, and its bars. He also repaired the wall of the aqueduct, pool near the king's garden, as far as the steps that lead down from the city of David. After him, the work of repair was carried out by Nehemiah, son of Azbuk, administrator of half of the district of Beth Zur, to a place opposite the tombs of David, as far as the artificial pool and the barracks. After him, these Levites carried out the work of repair. Rahum, son of Bani, and next to him, for his own district, was Hashabiah, administrator of half the district of Keilah. After him, their kinsmen carried out the work of repair. Binnui, son of Henadad, administrator of half the district of Keilah. Next to him, Ezer, son of Yeshua, administrator of Mizpah, who repaired the adjoining sector, the corner opposite the ascent to the arsenal. After him, Baruch, son of Zabai, repaired the adjoining sector from the corner to the entrance of the house of Eliashib, the high priest. After him, Meremoth, son of Uriah, son of Hakkoz, repaired the adjoining sector from the entrance of Eliashib's house to its end. After him, the work of repair was carried out by the priests, men of the surrounding country. After them, Benjamin and Hashub carried out the repair in front of their houses. After them, Atzariah, son of Maaseiah, son of Ananiah, made the repairs alongside his house. After him, Binnui, son of Henadad, repaired the adjoining sector from the house of Atzariah to the corner that is to the angle. After him, Palal, son of Utsai, carried out the work of repair opposite the corner and the tower projecting from the upper palace at the quarters of the guard. After him, Pedaiah, son of Parosh, carried out the work of repair to a point opposite the water gate on the east and the projecting tower. After him, the Tekoites repaired the adjoining sector opposite the great projecting tower to the wall of Ophel. Above the horse gate, the priests carried out the work of repair, each opposite his own house. After them, Zadok, son of Immer, carried out the repair opposite his house, and after him the repair was carried out by Shemaiah, son of Shechaniah, keeper of the east gate. After him, Hananiah, son of Shelemiah, and Hanun, the sixth son of Zalaph, repaired the adjoining sector. After them, Meshullam, son of Berechiah, repaired the place opposite his own lodging. After him, Malchijah, a member of the goldsmiths' guild, carried out the work of repair as far as the quarters of the temple servants and the merchants in front of the gate of inspection, and as far as the upper chamber of the angle between the upper chamber of the angle and the sheep gate. The goldsmiths and the merchants carried out the work of repair, opposition from Judah's enemies. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and very much incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, saying in the presence of his associates and the troops of Samaria, "What are these miserable Jews trying to do? Will they complete their restoration in a single day? Will they recover these stones, burnt as they are?" From the heaps of dust, Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him, and he said, "Whatever they are building, if a fox attacks it, it will breach their wall of stones. Hear, O God, how we are mocked. Turn back their reproach upon their own heads, and deliver them up as a plunder in a land of captivity. Do not hide their crime, and do not let their sin be blotted out in your sight, for they insulted the builders to their faces. We, however, continued to build the wall, and soon it was completed up to half its height." The people worked enthusiastically. God bless you.